of the host, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of this station, its staff, management, or sponsors.
AMP2.tv presents Tell Us Your Business, where you're invited on the air to tell us what makes your business stand out in the community. It's important we hear from you to tell us all we need to know about what you do best. Tell Us Your Business uses the latest radio and television production systems, and all shows can be seen on AMP2.tv. If you have a question for our guest, call 888-565-1470. Now, let's get ready as our guest hits the airwaves and informs us about what we need to know on Tell Us Your Business.
Boom. And welcome to Tell Us Your Biz. Yes, I am on, I don't know what number cup of coffee here at WWN and 95.3 FM, 96.9 FM, and 1470 AM. It's a long day, but it is a great day because I am so excited that we get to do Tuesday night.
What are you drinking?
7 o'clock. Tell us your biz. Give us a call. 888-565-1470. Say hi to Dan, and we'll be here to answer any questions you've got. How you doing over there, my friend?
I'm doing good. It's old school.
This is old school. I said 6 years since you've been setting a camera on me.
Me not being on the air visually.
I know.
But if you want to check it out, go to AMP Productions. It's AMP Media Productions.
AMP Media Productions on Facebook and YouTube.
Facebook, Twitter. It's all over the place.
Tune into your AM on or FM dial at WWNN. We are going to get right into this because normally you and I have 2 hours to ad-lib, they call it.
Yeah.
And play and have some fun, but tonight we got to get right down to business because we
This
only have
is
about
nitty-gritty stuff.
nitty-gritty. Tell us your business. We've got about 25 minutes before we hit our next show, so we're going to get right into it. We're going to be talking about financial literacy tonight, and I'm really excited, especially for women, to talk about financial literacy and what that means. So we have our friend Ann Bettinger joining us, a wealth advisor with Raymond James. So I'm excited. Welcome to WNN, Ann. So we were going through, you sent me pages and pages, and you don't even know how many pages of information she sent us. But there's some things that we can even just like knock off right out of what's going on, even before we get into retirement. I think right now, financial literacy is really important for all ages. Tell me what you do at Raymond James.
Well, we work with clients to help them plan all stages of their life, educate their youngsters as well as longevity planning for maybe their parents, and helping everyone transition to those different phases in life. And that includes educating people as things change in the world marketplace as far as financial planning goes.
Things are really changing now. Have you seen a lot of changes of what people are looking for post-COVID? I want to say post-COVID because I'm going to be optimistic that we're post-COVID.
Yes, I agree. Let's be there, please. People have had to shift. They've had to rethink where they are, what's really important to them, and let go of some things, and then help create something new that maybe during the lockdowns, or they've had chance to really rethink. Maybe they want to end their career sooner and do an encore career. Maybe they've decided to take some time off. Any number of things that we needed to make adjustments in their plans for what's more important to them now than it was pre-COVID. So each person's different and individual. So by sitting with them and listening, you get a better idea of what's changed in their life, or what is changing, because it is evolving. The whole world's in a transition right now. Who would think? But the whole world in different stages of transition, and it's probably going to go on for a while. I don't think it's ending right away.
I know. But also, even if it ended tomorrow, Freddie had a dream that it was ending. What day were you ending? I think COVID, you told me Wednesday. That would mean tomorrow it's ending. So assuming that it ends tomorrow, people's ideas have changed. Priorities have changed.
Sure.
Mindsets have changed. What would you need to do? What are you looking for in a financial advisor? What do you see people for a wealth advisor? Does financial mean you have to have over $1 million to work with you?
No. There's different ways we can work. We can work based on if you have assets, like your, millions of dollars, then we can charge a fee based on those assets. But let's say someone's in a transition and they don't have that at this moment. Maybe it's in a business, or it's in a retirement plan, or it's in a house they haven't sold for millions of dollars. We can begin to work with them and charge an engagement fee that we both agree with to do the planning and help them review what they have. Maybe they want to look at long-term care or in changing their insurance. They want to plan for something that's come up, maybe helping a family member, whether it be a younger person or an older person. And how are they going to best do that? And does it make sense for them to take, over school loans, or does it make sense for them to be spread out? How do they want to help? And then look at options on the best ways to do that. And then they make the choice. We just give them pros and cons, of course, work with their tax advisor, estate planning attorney, other trusted advisors with them to help them get all the information that they need to make an educated decision.
It's interesting. What I found really intriguing is that men and women look at invest on a whole differently. Men say, all right, the market did this, my investment did this, or did this, I'm in or I'm out.
Yeah.
Women, we sort of massage it a little bit. Well, I got the kids, and this one wants an engagement ring, or this one needs an apartment, but my parents may need help down the road, but I'm not really ready to retire yet, but maybe I want an encore career in my 50s or 60s, and all of these things play in our heads.
Sure. And it's getting all of that out. Looking at the hard numbers and absolute return, did I outperform the S&P or did I not? That it is what it is going to be. But when you start looking at all these emotional soft side goals and things that come up, it does take more conversation and processing and deciding which one you're going to focus on a little bit more right now, which one can we table for another month or 2 or 6 months, or, and working maybe simultaneously in a lot of cases on quite a few different things that are important to us and our families, or just people that we care about, charities that we want to support, putting all that down and then working toward those goals of achieving whatever it is we want to do along those lines. Of course, involving the people as well that we're trying to help, and having conversations about what you're willing to do and managing expectations, setting boundaries and that, so that it's not necessarily you're going to come to the rescue every time, but this is what you're willing and capable of doing that fits in your plan so that you're not thrown off track for your own goals longer term.
I feel like the needs, wants, and wishes, and the information you sent me. You know how they have these massive cleanup on houses, and Freddie, and people come in and they organize what you need to keep, what you want to keep, what you need to throw away. To me, that reminds me of this: that your needs, your wants, your wishes, what you need to retire, what you need to get to the next, what do you say, quarter of your life we discussed today, what you want, and what your wish might be. Maybe it's traveling, or you say a second home. How do you help categorize or put them in these buckets in my mind?
That's a good way to put it. It is kind of like a bucket, and we do that in our financial planning from a scale of, say, 1 to 10. You're being able to retire when you want to, and your health care, I put those as 10s because those are major goals, they're a need that you have. Those are usually come in as a 10. And we estimate what health care is going to cost in retirement. Medicare does not cover everything, and there's lots of expenses, just basic health care, not if you include functional medicine and any other supplements and anything else you may want to do. So those would be 2 necessity. And then maybe supporting, maybe travel could be a want, and helping maybe get a wedding for a child, or, getting some other goal that you have. And then maybe, a wish would be to take the whole family every 5 years on some sort of a trip, get everyone together, and, that's going to cost $30,000 or something, and that's, you'd like to do that. Maybe you scale it back, or maybe you have, the markets do great and you can get that. But that would be an example of something a little longer term that maybe would be a wish that you'd like to be able to do, or donate to charity. You know, those are things that I would say would probably more in the want and wish category versus the need category.
And I guess it's important also to look, as we talked, the sandwich generation, right? You've got your parents, your kids now, a lot of kids, adults have moved back home during this pandemic. So now you've got higher electric bills, you've got higher water bills, you've got higher grocery bills because they're living with you. Unless you say to them, and I don't know, maybe you would, if your adult kids were living with you, would you say, okay, these are your expenses, or do you just absorb them as household expenses?
It depends if they're working. If they're working, they got to pay rent like everybody else. Now, the question here is that, are they going to work at something they want to work at? Because there's plenty of work, but
Right
nobody
now
wants
it's
to
a
work
matter
at
of
that.
working, I know.
It's a matter of working and loving what you do. If you don't love it,
Because when your kids essentially leave and you're like, all right, they're off my payroll, maybe mostly, you may still help them here and there. At least I'm still in that here and there spot. Then they come home and then it's laundry and it's water and it's electric and it's groceries. But if you're getting ready to change, getting ready for retirement or getting to your next quarter, you are now stepping back to where you were in high school or younger, right? And you now have more expenses along the way.
Sure.
Now we have to reallocate things.
Yeah. It's whatever you can agree to, right? If they're not working at the time and you're working, then maybe they could be doing the laundry. They could be doing the grocery shopping. They could be doing those errands and taking up that slack in the family,
Some
cleaning
responsibility.
the house, taking responsibility, because those are all tasks that either you have to do or you're going to pay someone to do if they weren't there. Let's just say. So if they're not working, then maybe that's something to think of. I remember in college, my boyfriend moved back home to where he was living in McLean, Virginia. And they had plenty of money, but he was required to take care of all his laundry, get all his food. He paid $100 a month. Now this was in the 80s, but that was expected. And he had a job, but you know, they weren't letting him just move back in and take care of everything. And like I said, this was a wealthy family, and that was a lesson I think that stuck with me all these years, is just because you have the money doesn't mean that you know you just take care of everything for the children and they don't have responsibilities. And it might be, like I said, doing chores, helping out, doing things that take something off of your plate so that you're not doing everything.
But it's a good lesson in financial literacy. Again, it's learning those lessons of, all right, this is rent. And I even know people who have done this. Their kids have given them rent, and when they finally move out, they give it back to them, whether they've invested it. Some do and some don't. But it was more of the responsibility and the onus of, I've moved back home, my responsibility is X amount in rent. And to learn, I can't just, it's no free ride in this world, and what does it take to work towards it? Because we're all working towards something.
You have a client, and her two sons are living at home. One didn't have a job. Now he's got a job, but they're paying, I asked her point blank, are they contributing? And she said, yes, $1,800 a month between the two of them.
Wow.
So, yeah, some responsibility. If they were living somewhere else, they would be paying rent. So why couldn't they help with her? You know, she's retired.
Yep.
And was supporting them and has supported them. And, you know, it's good to take responsibility and realize it's not going to be a free ride unless the parent's willing to have them live there forever. Most parents, that's not the goal.
And I want to go back to the healthcare, because you and I, now let's not discuss my supplement routine over the weekend. I did something I should not have done. But you go in and you think either Medicare or health insurance, even Medicaid, whatever level you're on of healthcare, there are things that fall out of this bucket of healthcare that now have to be consumable expenses to you that should be considered in your plan for retirement.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Healthcare is going to continue to cost more. Has anybody had a healthcare bill that went down the last 5 years? I mean, it's going to
Have you?
continue.
no, not at all.
No, it's going to continue to rise. And those of us that want to do things outside of just what our insurance plan covers are going to have to just pay out of pocket. And depending on what you want and how you want to take care of yourself, that could be to the tune of thousands of dollars. I mean, some people have a concierge type doctor that gets, you know, they can go see at any time. They can make phone calls if they're international, get assistance and help. And that's not for everyone, but Raymond James has a resource that we offer to clients at a discounted, it's called Pinnacle Care. And if you're diagnosed with a major condition or you're told you need surgery, and if you have a membership with them, they will walk you through getting a second opinion. About 29% of diagnoses are not even correct. I didn't know this until Pinnacle Care came along.
Really?
Yes. So they're going to get your medical records together.
Raymond James offers this?
It's a discount. It's a resource. It's a national company that we vetted and added to our longevity program. We thought so much of the company, Raymond James, put it on our employee benefits. I was paying about $250 a year for this service, and then it became on our benefits plan, so I don't have to pay. But for a family, it's through Raymond James, it's discounted because we have a corporate partnership with them. But, you know, something happens or you're told you need a surgery, oh my goodness, you know, what doctor, and they get you a second opinion, get you to a specialist and so forth. And then obviously any major diagnoses you have otherwise, they can get all your records together, walk you through that whole process and help your loved ones, because you may not be part of the process. It may be your loved ones that are taking care of things if you have a serious diagnosis. So it's a health care benefit. Clients that are under 65, we have a resource. It's a national health company, and they'll help the client shop for health care, vision, and dental nationwide. Because clients were asking us for this, and even though I'm health licensed, because I do long-term care, we don't sell health insurance. So we didn't have somewhere to turn, so we needed national companies that could help our clients. If the client's 65 and older, we use Health Plan One. They're licensed agents, and they can walk you through the initial setup of your Medicare, and then every year when you have open enrollment, you can call and help them. They'll run any prescription you have through a screen, determine which healthcare, which drug plan might be best for you, which might be different than the one you had last year. So it's a phenomenal resource. I've had great feedback.
You want to take a quick commercial break? All right, give us a call. We're going to take a quick commercial break. Wow, there's so much information to go. 888-565-1470. Stay tuned. We're going to be back more with Ann Bettinger, Wealth Advisor with Raymond James, right here in Boca. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Welcome to AMP2 TV, the first and only internet production company that's truly plugged in. When you're looking for a full-service internet radio, TV production company, discover AMP2 TV. AMP2 TV is a full-service media company that can provide all streaming videos, video studios, radio studios, and television studios that will set the venue for any media application. We offer remote services as a radio or TV production and continue to grow new venues to bring your ideas to life. We also specialize in video and photo content for social media. Call us today at 866-224-5422, for no business is too small to grow to be accounted. It's time for your message to be seen. Let AMP2 TV help get you there.
Even though some things are far away, we plan for them ahead of time because they're important. When it comes to your celebration of life, it's really no different. You want to plan ahead now so your family doesn't have to later, and create a service that reflects your values, character, and traditions, no matter what they may be. At Dignity Memorial, we listen to every detail and make sure everyone is remembered.
You are listening to Tell Us Your Business, where our invited guests share all the knowledge of their business and how important it is what they do in our community. If you want to be part of the conversation, call into the show at 888-565-1470 and tell us what's on your mind. Now, back to Tell Us Your Business.
That's the Jordana clock. And we are back with Tell Us Your Biz with Ann Bettinger, Wealth Advisor for Raymond James. Give us a call, 888-565-1470, to answer all your questions. Freddie hasn't even had a chance to pop in here with a question.
And I better ask, because the show is almost over.
I know.
And in the day, financial planning was long-term. In other words, 10 years, 15 years. We're thinking about the long-term gain. whenever we did a plan. So you had to stay in it, you had to relax, you had to do it correctly. Has that changed because of what's going on around us now? Have we gotten into the short gain of the perspective, or still long-term thinking?
Well, I think maybe you're right. I mean, you're planning for long term when you start, but at different ages, you may have shorter term goals. So it could be your child's going to college in 5 years, and you're just now ready to start putting money away. So that could be a short term goal. Whereas longer term, having money and being able to support yourself the rest of your life, maybe 40 years, from now. So it just depends on the goal, I think.
And it's interesting because also portfolios being aggressive, being passive, the amount of challenge that you're willing to tolerate. Are people more aggressive now? I mean, the numbers are just, I've never seen anything like this in my life.
You have different perspectives, right? You have people that have a lot of cash and they're very nervous about now putting money in the market. So there's investments that have downside protection that we use, so they can take a deep breath and they go, okay, I'm not going to lose anything, but I have an opportunity to gain so much. Or you have other people that have just been rolling the dice and now they've got 80% in equity when really they only wanted about 65, 70. So we have to rebalance portfolios and sell some things that have gone up and put them in other investments that maybe haven't gone up as much to pull some of the risk down, rather than letting things just roll and waiting for the market to correct, because it will. We don't know when, but it will. It always
What
does.
goes up must come
Sure.
down.
Even this market is going to correct at
Of course.
35? Really?
Of course.
Wow.
Cannot tell you when, but it always happens.
May not be in our lifetime, but at some point things may
But it
change.
doesn't usually work that way. It shouldn't even be this high, but it is.
Freddie.
One of the other things that Raymond James does, which I know we're running out of time, I want to talk about, you've got a cybersecurity scan program you offer and longevity resources.
Correct. Part of the longevity resources is Raymond James went out and made agreements with companies that could, for cybersecurity and identity theft, a discounted rate to help. Because, having people take money out of your account and dealing with all that is not only stressful, but it can set you back as well. And then all the other longevity resources suite we offer clients, and they get a discounted rate because they're Raymond James clients. As far as healthcare goes, Pinnacle Care I mentioned, if you're under 65, the health plan, and then HP1 for people 65 and older. And then if you need someone to do an assessment of a family member that's maybe declining some, there's another company called Broadspire, and they're care managers that'll come in and do an assessment anywhere in the United States. They're usually registered nurses, and help decide what type of transition or plan that they may need. So that's just another resource.
I never realized that the wealth advisor could really encompass your whole life, not just your finances, but everything is really finances. And at the end of the day, when you look at it, what can you afford? Healthcare, cybersecurity, and Raymond James offers so many options.
Right. Keeping your money is important. And, we didn't even go into debt, but some debt is good. And, helping people manage debt is another part of the whole financial planning process.
Oh, it's got to be the next show then. That's a show I never want to talk about. When I was a kid, my dad said, "Why do you have so many credit cards? I paid the bills. If you take out one, I'm still getting the bill for all 5. I'm like, yeah, well.
That's me. I'm the debt client.
Managing the debt back in the day, what we thought we did. What is the best way for them to contact you?
They can call my office, 561-981-3661, or they can email me at anne.bettinger, BEDINGER, at RaymondJames.com.
Well, I never really thought we could do a whole show on debt. That's an interesting topic going forward also.
Yes, it is.
I know. Thank you so much for joining us. It has been a
a
pleasure. More to come. We've got a Women in Wealth series we're putting together, 100 plus women who care. Contact Ann Bettinger, or you can always find her with us at the cafe. Have a great evening. Tune in just a minute to Ready, Set, Go Beyond with Jordana Foster.
This has been Tell Us Your Business, where a special guest comes on every week and tells us what they do. All shows can be seen on amp2.tv, and if you wish to be a guest, call 866-224-5422 and tell us about your business. That's 866-224-5422.